Hello everyone, I am Tacet and welcome to the Gems of War Ward lore event, week 4, day 1, and unfortunately, this Ward lore event, as far as the scoring system, is very similar to the first week we ever had. I was kind of hoping they would change it by now, which is actually one of the reasons I didn't really do the video yet. I was hoping they would rebalance it so I wouldn't give like wrong information for it. But no, it does look like they are probably not rebalancing it. If they haven't by now, it seems like they probably won't. This is rather problematic because the way the scoring system is right now, to get stage 12 for your entire guild, every single person needs to get tier 7 once in order to reach it, approximately. So that is obviously extremely expensive, and most people will probably not be doing that. Also, one other kind of weird thing about this event is that we get a raid troop from it. You get it off of the, it's kind of hidden here, but wherever it says an event troop is where you end up getting it. So you can technically get it to Mythic from tier 3 with a single Orb of Ascension, which honestly is probably your best bet. Otherwise, you have to go all the way to tier 6, if I'm not mistaken, in order to get those other 10 copies, which will then bring it up to Mythic. So yeah, you'd have to go tier 6 to get it Mythic with no Orb. However, you can get it all the way to Mythic off of tier 3. However, that of course gives you a lot less sigils. And as far as getting the event done, it would not be able to across your guild. But yeah, it's really high this time around. The first one was about this high. The second and third were closer to tier 3, tier 4. And this one, once again, is like a tier 7 in order to get it done. Really weird scoring. As I mentioned earlier, the scoring for this is basically we get 3 points whenever we kill one of these rooms. We get 2 whenever we kill one of these like purplish rooms. Whenever we kill one of these blue rooms. And every single time you see the mythic boss room, you want to make sure you always go for it whenever you see the Element Grim. The Element Grim also counts as a boss, which is the whole reason why we have like that raid troop thing in here. That one troop does count as a boss, so you will be able to hit it for additional damage with the troop that you end up getting. So you will be able to do that. However, the team that I will be using does not actually incorporate that. It's just going to be Double Korvash, Divinish Bala, and Turgaraki. If you were to incorporate this, you would go and get rid of one Korvash in order to go put the troop in. Though I think I am going to be going without it for the most part, at least for these earlier battles, and just kind of see how it goes, and go from there. But anyways, let's start getting into things. But yeah, Double Korvash, Divinish Bala, Turgaraki is what I'll be using. We have very few options, as you can see here. As far as what we have available to use. It's very limited here, and even more so for our weapons. Pretty much no viable weapon for the most part, so you're essentially just going to be using whatever the troops are, unless you just have absolutely no other options. And even then, the cheapest one you have is like Holy Avenger, which oddly enough, if I'm not mistaken, is the only epic or below weapon in the game that has instant kill. It has 20% lethal, so I guess it's not too bad to use if you did have to use it, if you didn't have any of these other higher rarity ones. But yeah, overall, it's going to be a rather weird event. Rather weird, to say the least. I'll be running this with +2 blue, +1 yellow, and it should be fine for these earlier battles. Even once we get later, once we have the tokens equipped, we should be fine. It's telling me I should probably go equip some of them. Sure. Do I actually have any right now? Oh yeah, we do. We have, sure, why not? We have 2 little badges. Unfortunately, don't have a medal out of them yet. Though, as I say that, hold up. What if I go back? I might be able to claim rewards to go get our medal. So I'm going to go do that right now. Ooh, Volky. Let's see what's in it. Okay, we get a useless green. And there's the medal I'm looking for. Medal of Songs, which these medals do end up giving you the double bonus again. It gives 60% extra skull and spell damage. So at least we get the really overpowered one, if nothing else, which helps out a little bit. Oh, also, I didn't end up reading the lore thingy. I should probably go do that. So, the lore for this thing. The temples of Leothaza have fallen silent. 1 week ago, Dragonians silently entered the temples, slaying the devoted and stealing the temple treasures. But it was merely a distraction. Soon afterwards, Elamagrim, the great descended from the sky to steal the manticore cubs for some nefarious purpose. Now, the manticores will not sing the Song of Anu until their cubs are returned. You must hunt down the temple treasures, keeping an eye out for Elamagrim. Attack him on sight to rescue cubs, or he will vanish, and you'll have to search for him again. So basically how this works is every 4 battles that we end up doing, we'll have an Elamagrim spawn. We want to kill out that Elamagrim every single time because it gives 20 points, whereas all the treasures only give us 1, as you can see by these denotations on them. And as I mentioned, the Elamagrim gives 20 points. This gives 3, the orange rooms. These epic ones give 2, and this little blue one over here gives 1, so obviously you want to be avoiding the blue ones as much as possible, and always take the Elamagrim on site every single time you see it. And that's pretty much all you need to know for the events. So let's start it, and start with the highest rarity, of course, and just use the team that I was just mentioning, and it'll tell me to go set medals, or not. Am I really running this with 20% and 1 medal? That means I have nothing in my other medal slot. I thought it would tell me, like, hey, go set something there, but nope, apparently not. So I'll need to go do that after this battle. It's not really going to matter much, obviously. Let's see. Let me take it for brown. Might as well get a Corvash in there. That'll double kill dead. And we're good to go. Yeah, then we go fix my token. And as you can see, we get 3 treasures there, as I mentioned, for the orange room. Let's just use, we'll use Anisha for a little bit of extra magic for when we need it. And our offers today are awful. Or mine are anyways. Those are different per person. The ones that are the same, though, is Adventure Board. And Adventure Board is also awful. How awful. Okay, anyways, that's not where I want to go. Fall in silence. And take these epic ones next. Anyways, hello everyone! Hope all of you have been doing well today. Hello, Cookie! Hello, Defiant! Hello, Bill! Hello, Jefferson! Hello, the stream just died. I should probably stop saying hellos and then redo them all. Stream, why'd you go down for a second? There we go. Did it even go down? YouTube said it did. It doesn't look like it actually did on my end, though. But anyways, let me redo them again. Hello, Bill. Hello, Cookie. Hello, Defiant. Hey, we got a Valraven. Hello, Jefferson. Hello, Tenlo. Hello, Abed. Hello, Karsten. Hello, Jefferson. Hello, Roz. Hello, Cookie. Hello, Gustavo. Hello, Humberto. Hello, Alfie. Hello, Daniel. Hello, Never Fates. I know the gem sync event. Yeah, I know. This event is taking up way too many gems whenever it's set up like this. They really need to fix that scoring so it only takes tier 3 or 4. This event should never take more than tier 3 or 4. And anytime they do is really, really annoying. Hello, Liz. Hello, Raven. And hello, everyone else. Welcome, welcome. So, speaking of Ravens, let me go kill out this Valraven. Do we have any drop for it? No, we do not. So we'll go Corvash that. Guarantee get the kill on there. Luckily, we have that enchant going on, so we'll have guarantee mana soon. Oh, we'll try for a Divine Ishbala. Do we have it? No. So let's take some reds, I guess. At this point, we might as well get Corvash mana, though he's blocked, so we'll just get it in 2 turns automatically. So I might as well just pass my turn with whatever. And then just Corvash him, and that'll be that. But yeah, Corvash, the other Basilisk. It's a troop that's actually relatively similar to Basilisk, oddly enough. In the sense that they're both a stunner that you'd use on brown and blue Guild War days. It's pretty much the whole role. Though, obviously, they do come into play for this event, luckily. If you're going to be opening event keys, the main thing you want to try finding, though, is Divine Ishbala. Divine Ishbala is pretty much the only good thing in event keys this week. Technically, Corvash, too. But given that Basilisk was this last week, and most people probably got the Basilisk, you might not necessarily need a Corvash. But, I don't know, always good to get at least 1 copy, if nothing else. It's definitely still a good troop. Has double mana drain on cast. Still one of the better stuns in the game. I would just say Basilisk is better in most situations, though. And as you can see, we got an Elamagrim fight. This is what it looks like. You want to take it 100% of the time. Never not do this battle. Otherwise, you will not get the points. It's fine if you let it stay here for the day. You know, like if you have 0 sigils left, it's perfectly fine to leave it here. It won't disappear. However, if you do any other battle right now, this thing will disappear. As far as these battles. You know, not any battle in game. But if you take any of these 3 battles that isn't the Elamagrim fight, it'll disappear. So make sure whenever that icon appears to always take it 100% of the time, or you will lose a massive amount of points during this event. Also, this Elamagrim does count as a boss. So you can do the extra multiplier damage based on that 1 troop that you get through the event. So you do have that as an option if you find this thing being hard to kill. However, given that it's going to have relatively similar stats to everything else, you could probably just kill it like a normal troop. And it shouldn't really matter too much. Maybe it will later on, but it shouldn't really matter. because its stats are almost identical, maybe just a little bit higher. And then of course we just could take the highest rarity and repeat the cycle, and just do the 4 battles. Go take the Elhamagrim as soon as we see it. Rinse, repeat. That's pretty much all you have to do for this event. Pretty straightforward event, even though the scoring for it is pretty horrible. What do we do here? We'll grab, I'll take the blue for now. Probably just aim for Corvash. So I'm actually going to take another blue here just so we don't have to wait as many turns, so we just go immediately into it. Unfortunately, he's got a revive there, but we do have that additional 160% additional damage from the metal that we have set, so we can just use that in order to kill it out pretty easily. And there we go. At this point, it doesn't really matter which rooms we go for. However, given that level means nothing for how many points you get, it is better to take the lowest level. You should be taking the highest rarity, but the lowest level, if that makes sense. The rarity being the color that it is, and the level being, you know, just the level that it shows there. Because the level has no dictation on your amount of points that you get during this event. The only thing that matters is your rarity of the battle that you're doing. The level itself does not actually determine anything other than how strong the enemies will be. So you might as well just take the lower ones since they'll be easier. So like right here, it is 20, 20, and 30. They'll all get the same points, so you might as well do the 20s instead of the 30. However, this is a higher rarity, so we want to grab this since it's legend and not epic. You saw my old videos where you got Famine and trade it was hilarious. You spent 100 VIP keys for 4 mountain trade stones. Yeah, the economy was quite a bit different then. You have to keep in mind, when that Famine video was made, it was actually possible to get about 20,000 gems per week or so. This didn't last for too long, but around that time, the gem economy in the game was drastically different than it is now, to say the least. I forgot, this thing's annoying. It has 75% spell reduction. Hopefully it doesn't appear too much. I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of it, which will be very annoying if so. It's the highest spell reduction in the game. You can always stun it, of course. I don't believe it has any immunity to stun, but we'd have to go out of our way to make sure Corvash gets it on before we actually cast, if that's the case. But at least we do have stun with us, so I guess it's not too big a deal. The only problem is getting the extra turn, because we don't really have a proper mana generator on this team. We're kind of just hoping Enchant covers all of our mana accumulation needs, and maybe Divine Shpala getting some, but she only really feeds into herself. Also, hello, Drock Savage! Welcome! And hello, John. Hello, Corey. Welcome, welcome. And hello, Bushka. Hello, Analyst. You crafted Mother of Darkness today. Nice. Only missing Suna, and that useless orc that was in the Forge last week. I forgot his name as well. Gargantar. Using her with the new Mythic seemed to work in PvP, but was a little slow. Yeah, she's not the greatest, unfortunately, Mother of Darkness. She has a really good bleed, like the best bleed in the game. But aside from that, I don't feel like she gets used for much, and very rarely is bleed mechanic really used. I think the main thing bleed has that's going against it right now is nothing has a multiplier based on bleed. Nothing does more damage to bleeded enemies, and nothing has like a 2 times or 3 times skull damage against bleed. Maybe if we get that combined with like a true damage troop, that could be kind of interesting. But as it currently stands, bleed does not really have much synergy other than with true damage, but it's normally so slow to try to bleed down enemies, and how many extra turns you need to get just to get all the bleeds on. That's normally better just to go a bunch of true damage and not even worry about bleed. But yeah, bleed was one of those mechanics that seemed like it might end up being decent, but just has no real applicable use in any game mode currently, especially since it doesn't upscale at all. And Guild Wars is too fast-paced to bother using something so slow. And PvP, you generally want to win way quicker than what you would normally do with a bleed. So it doesn't really fit anywhere for the most part. It's kind of weird. And of course with delves and factions and stuff, it's just, you would never use it against higher level content like that, because it doesn't upscale. It's kind of weird overall as a mechanic. It's almost like Poison, but even more useless than Poison somehow. Its effect is better than Poison, but Poison's actual applicable use is better, given that it has like Web Spinner for triple damage, and Scorpius for double instant kill and stuff like that. Like, it actually has uses beyond just its effect, even though its effect is one of the worst in the game. It's so bad that it could be considered a positive stats effect, just because of traits that trigger whenever it takes HP damage. Let's see, and then we'll get the other core Vash. Not even going to bother with Tagraki here, since we already got the kill. Okay, I'll take this Legend Room, and then we should get an Elhamagrim. Hey, we got a Val Raven. I feel like we're getting a lot of Val Ravens. And nice, double kill. Already dead. Oh, well, never mind. You have 75% reduction. Now you're dead. And luckily, even if we make that mistake and don't get an extra turn on it, we don't really have to worry about it too much, just because beyond that point, we'd already have the stun from Corvash hitting it once. Oh, Shade of Zorn. Oh yeah, there's two of them. Shade of Zorn and Gargantar. They are both exceedingly bad, among the worst two troops in the game. Particularly Shade of Zorn. Even Gargantar looks a little bit better compared to Shade of Zorn. Shade of Zorn is that bad. Speaking about bad, this board is not the greatest. They didn't really do much. Okay, we'll just grab that for now, and then he's dead off of Corvash. And there's our Elamagrim battle. Hit level 1000 today. Congratulations. Nice. And level 1270 on your mobile account. Very, very nice. What do we grab there? I'll take the brown for now. But yeah, I got my Switch account up to about 1,000. I think it might actually still be a little bit under. Let's see. Though I only played it for about a month or two. And then we stopped with the Switch version. Mostly because it's so out of date. Even to this day, it's still like 9 months behind every other version. Which isn't too big a deal if you're only playing on one version, like the Switch version. But if you're playing on multiple, it seems really weird just because of how far behind it is. Okay, good. We already preemptively got the stun. So normally that would have 75% reduction. However, since we had a stun, it has no reduction. And there we go, dead. Here's our 20 daily gems. Oh, it looks like we have 4 of the exact same room. Well, I guess theoretically this one is slightly different as far as the dragon that exists within it. But it's not that big a deal. They both give the same amount of points, so it doesn't matter which one of those I go for in this instance. What would be a good alt for Tanya in that one team? What day was that? Green counter? I forget what color Guild War day that was countering. If I knew what color day, I could probably suggest something. You'd probably want to go and empower that denies the color then. So whatever the color day is, go and empower that counters it. And ideally make it a color that you need for the team. Which is pretty much every color for the most part. What do we grab here? Like one of those red-yellow empower troops would probably work. There's a couple different ones. Now we'll take that down for now. Corvash that before he escapes. Gets rid of his mana and dead and dead. Okay, let's see. A level 10 room, weird. I'll take this one. I never understand what determines like the level that you get faced with. Sometimes. Seems rather weird that you could have like a one room that's 200 something, yet then have another room that's like level 50. Runs with a very, very strange method. Oh, you're not full mana. 1 mana shorts. Really gonna make me cast on this, apparently. It's not like he's gonna kill us, and even if he does, we don't get penalized for losing troops in this game mode. As long as you win the battle, that's the only thing that matters. That and killing the Val Raven, of course, before it escapes. As long as you do those two things, you get max points regardless of how many die out. Yeah, I'd play the Switch version a lot if it had cross-platform, but it doesn't. And for that reason, I don't. Yeah, I'd play it like a lot. If it like I'd play it probably as my primary version if it had a cross-platform, but it doesn't, unfortunately. We'll take this one. The only bad thing about Switch though is if I'm streaming, you can't use touchscreen and you can't use mouse. It has keyboard support, but it doesn't have mouse support. Games on Switch. So you wouldn't be able to use a mouse for it. And normally touchscreen would be fine, but you can't touchscreen while you're streaming it because it has to be docked. We'll take this room, and then I believe we have Elamagrim. Oh, hello, Relly! Welcome! Yeah, eventually we would need to switch to Tagaraki. Like, as our main primary damage source. It depends how far you're going. It also depends how many medals you have for bonus. Because we are getting additional damage off of Corvash for quite some time. Also, we're going to likely want to keep at least one Corvash just so we can stun this thing. Because it's 75% reduction. Otherwise, we have no stun on our team. Any amount of value we'll get on stun on it is probably worth it. You could always skull spam as an alternative. But, I don't know, it'd still be useful to have the stun. Nothing else, at least for one Corvash. He still does true damage, so it's still synergized with Tagaraki. But at some point, you would go double Tagaraki rather than double Corvash, I feel. I don't feel like you would ever use the Legend, though. I mean, not the Legend, the Raid troop this week. It feels weird saying that during a World Lore event, but the Raid-like troop that we end up getting would end up working there. Yeah, let's throw that down for now. Get our mana that we need, take the other poke, and it's already our turn again. Gosh, a lot of extra turns. Which mythic to wait for? What do you have currently? What one is worth saving diamonds for? Like top one to get? Well, it's, that depends on what you do or do not have, but Iron Gut's pretty high up there. He can completely solo pretty much any delve where he's applicable color. We ended up doing that for last delve event. Yeah, he just completely demolishes it. Even without potion effects. Once you get that first devour, you have 100% devour rate. Ends up working out really, really good for delves. He's single-handedly probably the best delve troop still in the entire game. As far as overall value, he's still pretty high up there, though I'm not sure exactly if he'd be like the best one overall. But if you're talking about for like delve value and something that can really give you a good utility for it, he's definitely the best thing to consider. Since the second you get Iron Gut, you can theoretically win every single delve that has a blue, brown, or yellow restriction. Yeah, we might eventually switch this team to double Tagaraki. The further we go, the more important it'll be to have more Tagaraki than Corvash. We still want to keep one Corvash, though. Pretty much as soon as Corvash's hit stops one-shotting is likely when we want to stop using him. If it doesn't get a one-shot, we'll switch immediately to Tagaraki. Do we have Divinish Ball alignment there? Yeah, we'll go for that, I guess. Take our skull. And that should be a dead. Farish Raw is really good for soul farming. He's definitely one of the first few that you want to consider. He's only particularly good if you're planning on doing a lot of soul farming, though. Yeah, this whole World Lore event thing, they're going a really weird angle with it overall. It seemed like it was going to be slightly more diverse than what they're currently making it. And they keep doing the scoring, like, very wrong. Like, 2 of the 4 times now, they've done the scoring in a very, very, very bad way. Either intentionally or unintentionally. But the very first one in this current one has a horrifically bad scoring system. As far as how many gems you need relative to getting all rewards. Compared to any of the other events. The last 2 were pretty balanced, though, so I thought that going forward they would all be. But apparently not. Let's see, we'll grab that for now. But we are getting an okay bounty troop this Friday. It's actually a pretty good bounty troop. Outside of bounty is bad. But within the context of bounty, it's actually one of the better bounty troops we're getting this Friday. Also bring an additional star to Leonis. That's the only other like major thing happening this week. Though next week we have Volt event, so next weekend I'm going to be maxing out every hero class in the game. Whatever we don't already have done. By the end of next weekend, I shall have every single next week's weekends, not this weekend. But by the end of next week's weekend for the Vault event, we shall have every single hero class in the game maxed out. And that should also likely be before version 5.0. Because 5.0 likely isn't coming until later this month or early next month. No official date yet, though. Why is the tier so high again? I have no clue. I have not the slightest clue. You can ask Salty. She's streaming in an hour, I think. Unless she's gonna go into hiding again. But she's definitely gonna get asked it. There's no way she's not. Unless she just completely ignores the question the entire stream. Let's see. Take the blue for now. We're still one-shotting. We didn't that on that one because that doesn't count. She has 75% reduction. We're still getting it down. You got the $5 offer for Doomed Glaive, and have none of the good ones. That might be worth it then. Doomed Glaive is the best one of them. So if you were to go for any, that's probably the best one to go for. If I'm not mistaken, it's available through an event pretty soon though. But it's so good that even without it, it's still probably worth getting now. For $5. It's one of the few weapons I would say is actually worth going for. A good majority of weapons are not worth spending money on. But that is one of them that probably is. Oh, we already ran out of sigils as well. Interesting. I'll probably just mention the double Tagaraki then. Tagaraki. There we go. I don't know, maybe we'll buy more packs later. Still not sure. This is a really weird event. To say the least. So I'm not sure if we'll get more gems or not. Let's see, where do we fall in our guild right now? I'm like right dead center in the middle. Seems about right. Right in the middle. Okay, anyways. So that's that. Next order of business. Let's go and grab, what do we even want here? Let me get armor so I can go clear out dailies real quick. And get that done. Do we still need Dervish? Yeah, we still need some Dervish XP. We're so close, yet so far. Yeah, Doomed Glaive is available from Soulforge sometime in July. I also forget the date off the top of my head. It was whenever the Mergrim Woods event is. Whatever day that was. Or week. Do I know the name of the event? I can go check it real quick. It's whatever Mergrim Woods is. Oops. Whatever Mergrim Woods is. It is available July 13th is when Doomed Glaive is available for purchase in game. And it will require a bunch of diamonds, about 1,000 diamonds or so, and like 2,000 green or whatever it was. Whatever a Doom weapon normally takes. But it will be available the week of the 13th of July, not this month. Personally, I feel like if you're going Iron Gut, you don't really need any other Delph troop specifically. Iron Gut, once you have it, can pretty much cover all the ground you need. The only problem is he doesn't work for a couple delves, in which case you can run like Mang Skull Spam instead or something. Theoretically, Zugoff plus Iron Gut covers every single delve, but Zugoff is, of course, really hard to get. And it's in a category of its own. Actually, speaking of it being in a category of its own, this is probably fine for me to spoil. But, do you know how Doom weapons have a red border? Zugoff is getting a red border next patch. So, kind of like how I hoped we'd eventually get, like, red border pets and red border troops. Zugoff will be the first red border troop in the game. As well as the only, I believe. At least until they add more, of course, eventually. But, yeah, Zugoff will be the first red border troop. Currently, only Doom weapons have red borders. Let's see. Emperor Corvash, do you think it's Wandering Monk is a good combo? Monk could work with it. You just keep getting to spam mana. Depends what weapon you're using. But Mountain Crusher would work pretty good with it. You'd already have so much mana generation that you might not even need Monk for the extra bit if you're using it with Mountain. How can you tell Doomed Glaive will be available for that event? The weapons are available from whatever the current Kingdom event is. So, like, for example, right now it's a Leonis Empire event. So I know that any of the Leonis Empire weapons, like that one coin that destroys all armor and gives you a bunch of gold, is in Soulforge. The troops are different and goes based on a rotation. But the weapons are always based on the Kingdom. And right now it's a Leonis Empire Kingdom event. So, as you can see, this is a Leonis Empire weapon. This is a Leonis Empire weapon, so on and so forth. Some of them are kind of hard to tell if they are like an event weapon or something, without already having prior knowledge. But, for example, during a Mergrim's Woods event, if we go over to weapons in Mergrim's Wood, we can see what all the Mergrim Woods weapons are. And there's not really a way to just instinctually know what these are, but like which ones would be available. But this one is from leveling. This one is from $5, and $5 only. There's no other way to get it. This one is Soulforge. This one is Soulforge. This one is from leveling. This one is from leveling. This is from 250 wins on Warden Hero class. And this one is from Soulforge. So the Soulforge for the Mergrim Woods week will be Doomed Glaive, Hope's Crescent, and Wolf's Hammer. So it does take some amount of prior knowledge, but generally speaking, you can kind of assume whatever you see on a page here for the week will be available in some way, shape, or form if you're already missing it. But sometimes they're already available through other means. Like all 4 of these you can theoretically get right now. But this one's $5 only during that event, and these are just in Soulforge during that event, which is July 13th. And you can check that for pretty much any kingdom when the event rolls around. You might just not necessarily know which ones are actually in what location. I just have them all memorized, or mostly memorized. Let's see. Anyways, where was the thing that we're doing? Let's finish out that. Okay, we did that. Let's go do dungeons. Yeah, Terran's World and Gems of War database both have info on it. Terran's World doesn't really break it down as far as what weapons will be available, though. Does Gems of War database do that? I can't remember if it does. But Terran's World, you can see what the event will be, and then based on that, you can kind of determine what will pretty much be available. Yeah, we need to go grind that hero class in. We might actually get level 100 to stream. It's tempting. I don't have it in the title to stream, but that won't stop us from doing it. Level 100 Dervish. I don't know, we'll see. I might go all the way. Better save it for tomorrow's title. Let's see. Definitely want to work the XP on it if nothing else and get it up. Oh, did I see your last question? No, what was your question? So they don't make troops doomed in general? I have no clue what you mean by that question. I do not know what you mean. No, they will not require Doom Scrolls to upgrade, if that's what you mean. But Zugov's going to be the only one. Until they eventually add more. Which obviously they're eventually going to be adding more if they're making a whole new category for it. However, the event isn't directly bringing them in. Let's see, what was I doing? We did that. So let me go to this Vault Key. We got a Vault Key from the thing that I didn't use yet. We've been using all of them over 200. We can hope for a Mech Gnome or any drop that isn't useless. Come on, Mech Gnome. Oh, ooh, that could be better than a Mech Gnome, or just one single event key if we don't get anything good from this. Come on, blue or purple. Oh, we did it. We got one of the best Vault Key drops. Actually, it is literally the best Vault Key drop. That is worth, it doesn't technically have an actual value, but I would say a major Orb of Ascension is worth about 1,000 gems if you were to try to get a gem value equivalent. Like, the smaller one is worth up to about 500 gems. So the bigger one is, at minimum, worth the same amount, 500 gems. But I would say it's approximately 1,000 overall. But there we go, nice. So that's a really good Vault Key. That's like 1,015 or so gem value between the event key and everything. Very nice. How many blues is that total right now? We're at 6 major blues, 11 minor blues. I used one for the event. Actually, no, I actually didn't upgrade the pet yet. I actually didn't deliberately upgrade it yet. And I might actually keep it unupgraded for 2 reasons. One is I don't need it for the event. And the other reason is because Leonis Empire doesn't actually need it to upgrade right now. So Leonis Empire, with this troop, we actually don't need to upgrade it, which is kind of strange. But the reason for this is if we go check the Kingdom Power right now, you'll see that we can actually get it just by trading it. So we didn't actually need to go and max it out, which I haven't yet. Because right now, you're locked by 2 things. You need 2 more troops to come into the kingdom. And you need a pet for Leonis Empire to come in. So both of these things we do not have. And for that reason, yeah, there's really just no point upgrading it. So I'm going to deliberately leave it unupgraded and see if we can get away with just getting it off of normal drop tables. Because by the time the next mythic comes out, it should most likely be in the drop table. And then by that point, we can just go get a bunch of them and go from there. And just get it for free without needing a single orb. So it'll be nice. Yeah, theoretically, oh, see ya, analyst. Yeah, theoretically, the orb, a major orb of ascension can be worth even more than 1,000. It really depends on how you price it. I personally just do it on 1,000. I'd rather lowball them than overvalue them. But it's definitely worth at least 1,000. I guess it kind of comes down to the person on what it's actually technically worth. It's one of those that doesn't really have as static as of amount. Like something like a like the seal orbs, the guild things that give you more, like the small purple. That can pretty accurately be tracked to 135 and 675 for the, or sorry, 135 and then 675 for the bigger one, because you can basically break them down as their gem value through their key value, and because they're basically like gem keys, you can kind of just align them up, and they're essentially just worth 1 gem key each. That's a little bit easier to find its value for. Orb of Ascension is kind of relative. The smaller one you can kind of align the value for because it specifically can save you, like an actual physical 500 gems. But the major one can be a little bit different because it saves you keys and you need to upgrade something. So that changes it quite a bit. It's also used for Zugov, and valuing it there is kind of hard as well. But I'd say it's at least 1,000. Anyways, let's go get some Dervish XP. Let's go head over to PvP for it. We're low enough rating right now that we should be able to find easy battles, I hope. We'll actually see how well the repicking is, because we are still lowest rating that we can have, and we will be keeping that all week. I already answered your last question, Supplement. Let's see. I'll move that over. Grab this one then. Did you say to save event keys for something? Event keys are normally saved whenever the event key drop table is good, or something is in event key drop table that you want. The most noteworthy thing in event key drop table this week is Corvash and Divine Ishbala, with the most relevant one being Divine Ishbala. So if you don't have a copy of her yet, or if you need a Corvash for the event, for the Ward Lore event, it's worth considering to get one, just to have it around. Otherwise, there's not really much of a need to do event keys this week. But I would definitely try getting a Divine Ishbala if you don't have one. It's a pretty good utility troop to have. Really great skull spammer as well. It's so good that it's the only 50% mana start troop that has to be 40% because it's so good. As far as the ones that apply to an entirety of a type. And despite that nerf, she's still amazing. As soon as we hit level 99, we'll hand out a code. Which reminds me, Salty still never gave me more codes. I have enough to last till like Wednesday or Thursday or something. I'll need to go remind her again. Actually, just so I don't forget, I'll probably go do that right now. Let's see. And remind her after or during the stream. Where is the place to message her? Where is it? Where is it? Where is... There it is. Move that down. Hello, Salty. Let's see. Just messaging again as a reminder that I can't type too many keyboards. I have all my keyboards in such a weird location because I have 3 of them set up. Let's see. Just messaging again as a reminder that I still need redeem codes when you get the chance. Thanks. There we go. We have reminded her for the 3rd time. Or is it the 4th? I reminded her 2 times at 2 different locations. So I guess theoretically it's 4. There we go. And a reminder again on her stream. And again at the end of her stream. We shall get codes. Orpheus isn't too great to have. Obviously, if you need a mythic for it, I believe it's the only mythic within the kingdom, so at this current moment in time. Though we'll obviously be getting another one in the future. But, yeah, it's not that good of one. It's mostly used for its impervious plus cleanse, but there's other ways to do that. Though, the fact that it does have impervious is a good silence counter to, like, 4 times silence. However, 4 times silence is nearly non-existent in the game, or even silence spam in general. And for that reason, it's not that oftenly needed. Like, Great King's probably the only thing you might need it for. And even then, it's situational. Oh, there's level 99 Dervish. Speaking of codes, let me go hand out a code. Did say when we get a level, I do it, and that is a level. What code did we last use? I believe it was the one with Z in it. Let me just double check. So the one below this one should be the right code. Yep, that doesn't work. I already know that. But it should be this one right here is the one that does work. Let's see. I thought it said Oklahoma for a second. Let's see. There we go. Should be good. Put that right over there. And there you guys go. There is the redeem code right there. There you guys go. Use it on gemsofwar.com with the game code section. Your invite code can be found underneath your settings menu. Redeem code is right over there in chat. And enjoy, everyone. Give the same reward as always. 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. We had a corner of settings has the invite code thing. Whatever your game says for it. right over here. Here's your invite code. Redeem code's in chat, and just go to that link and it gives it to you. Also, there it is. 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. Only works on PC mobile version. Does not work on the consoles. Yeah, there we go. Oh, also, I took an ad on the mobile thing earlier just because, I figured why not? I got 100 gold. It reminded me to never do the ads. Taking the ad. Okay, what was I doing? We need to go back to power leveling. I don't know, maybe we'll get Dervish 100 right now. I think we'll get it right now, might as well. Let me fix the title. Let's see. Plus level 100 Dervish. I could type level 100. Wow, how many mistypes am I gonna do? Dervish class. There we go. We're doing it. Let's keep going all the way. None. It's treated just the same way as a Doom does. They have no benefits whatsoever. It's just a way to distinguish them. Which is why I figured it was fine for me to mention it. Because it has no effect on anything. It does literally nothing other than change its color. That'd be cool if Hero eventually got a red border though. Like for 1,000, level 1,500 or something. If they ever did do that, I hope they wouldn't make it for 1,000. That seems too low in the current state of the game. Not that level 1,000 is low, but you know, the amount of time that it takes relative to higher levels. That, or maybe they'll make it level 2,000. Could you imagine? I don't think they would make it that high though. Less than 0.1% of player base is over 2,000. Do I think 5.0 is good? What do I think of 5.0 without spoiling it? It is extremely meta changing. In a extremely changing way. And if you don't like change, it might be bad. But if you like change, it might be good. That's a big no. Let's say this. I liked 4.0 more. I probably like 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0 more than 5.0. My biggest concern with it is balance more so than anything. Because it fundamentally changes a couple things. Let's see. We'll throw that down for now. Are a lot of people going to quit? I don't think they would. But people have quit like during every patch for at least some reason. And then of course we also get a new player base as well. It does have some things that might make people quit. But overall, I don't know, that'd be kind of hard to determine. Though making achievements, that's even worse. I actually have no clue what the new achievements will be. Nothing achievement-wise they could really make too hard for the next one, though. Like, if they were to make new achievements based on the new system, they wouldn't be exceedingly hard to do, even the harder ones. Any changes for delves? I cannot answer that. The entire meta of the game will change, which pretty much every 0.0 patch has done. But this one probably more so than ever before. Will late game and end gamers be okay? Well, other than meta shifting, I feel like an active player wouldn't be bogged down by the system at all. But it definitely changes how you play. It's almost as much as a game changer as traits, for reasons that will become very evident eventually. But it's probably as big of a meta shift as 2.0 was, when we went from no traits to traits. Any approximate release date? Late June, early July. No official date has been given, though. But it is likely to be around that time. When can I talk about it? As soon as they release any info on it. They have released nothing, so I can say very, very little. Other than stuff that doesn't matter much. Like the fact that Zugaf will become red. Will the battles be even slower? That is something I can't answer, I don't believe. I can say that they'll be different. Oh, what was your question, Alexander? My bad. Let's see. What was your question? Is there any new grind-based elements? Can't say. What would it make you to stop playing? Or what would it take you to stop playing? I'm not sure, to be honest. Especially since this channel is like completely based around it. But, or at least primarily anyways. But, trying to think. There probably isn't much, to be honest. Just because how invested into the game I already am. Unless they really, like, paid Walt a lot of content. I'll take that for now. Can you still do unlimited battles? Yeah, all the battles are still the same as far as, you know, doing them in that regard. Like, you still do PvP infinitely, you can still do delves, your 3 per day, you know, all the normal things. Like, nothing like that's changing. No, there's no limitation to how many battles you'll have per day. It's still the exact same as it is right now in that regard. It's not that kind of change. It's mostly how battles go down that would change. You know, the meta of the game. Let's see. As it changes every patch. But this is so probably more so than almost any other time. Oh, did someone already spoil Doom Zugaf before I did? It's kind of expected that it'll eventually become doomed. Because they made mention in the past that they were going to release, like, special higher rarity pets and special higher rarity troops, and then they never did. And Zugov always seemed like one of them, and was never marked as such. And now they're just finally marking it as such. I'm really curious what would happen if we eventually get higher rarity pets and stuff like that. Kind of interesting to see what they would be. They made mention in Q&As before what they would end up being. Like, they were, like, kind of throwing around maybe something like poison better, or like really high resource boosts, more than like the 5% ones we get now, or something like that. We'll just kind of have to wait and see, because there's a good chance we'll probably eventually get doomed pets. However, they are not being introduced next patch. And by doomed pets, I mean red border pets. Not sure if they're eventually going to rename what red border even means. Yeah, they're just changing the rarity. It doesn't gain any additional benefits. It's literally just the same thing but red. Red and blue border. No actual changes being done otherwise. Yeah, Salty's, I believe, streaming in half an hour from now. Assuming she's streaming tonight. I'm pretty sure she is. Did they address a skull-based situation? I'm not sure if I can answer that. The answer is both yes and no. Mostly no. Skull spam has never not been meta. I don't think it will never ever not be meta. The only way skulls would ever not be worth it is if literally every single troop that isn't a skull spammer had empower. Which would obviously never happen. She might give some info on 5.0. If she does, let me know what she says. I'll try catching most of her stream though. But I wanted to go record the other thing. I have in the event video, but the teams for the faction that came out recently, because people are still doing it as a daily, because obviously not everyone goes and maxes out immediately. I know I always do, and quite a few end game people do, but the average player does not. So still want to go cover that because I haven't yet. And given I use all my sigils, I might wait till tomorrow morning to go do the event video thingy thing. Also right in time for all the delves as well. Gotta record it tonight and have it on tomorrow. Let's see, I'll throw that down. And it's dead. Most battles would probably be, I don't know if I can say that. I don't know, I'll just say it. Most battles are probably quicker next patch. Not slower. There are some battles that will be slower, but most will be quicker. For reasons I cannot say. But for the most part, you would actually be able to farm at a quicker rate than you can now. As weird as that may seem. I know, it's like the very, 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 very slow trickle of spoiling without actually saying what it is. Well, I haven't really said any details about next patch. A new 5 times speed, I wish. We need 8 times speed. You kidding? We need 16 times speed. We need speed so quick that you don't even need to wait for gems to fall. They just instantly teleport to their location. With no little animation that you have to watch. That is not what they're doing next patch. Though that would be very nice. 16 times speed go. Mobarashi. We actually have no way of knowing what any of the troop rebalances. So I have no clue if Life and Death got nerfed. I hope it did. Life and Death is really annoying. I feel like people are getting a lot better at countering it, but that doesn't make it any less annoying. It's never been really that hard to counter. The biggest issue with it is in Guild Wars. Because you have less options to counter it with compared to PvP. But it was never that hard to counter. It was just in the context of Guild Wars, you kind of have to be really creative with how you counter it. What do we take here? We'll grab explosions. I'll throw down the other explodey thing. And be good to go. Oh, I did not mean to repick that. Fail. With Queen Beatrix and now Sycorax, Life and Death is quite easy to counter now. Yeah, Life and Death, honestly, I feel like Life and Death has always been pretty easy to counter, personally. Because Scroll Spams almost always does it really, really well. And you have so many options in PvP. Like I mentioned, the hardest issue with Life and Death and what actually made it hard is more so what you do on a various Guild War day to counter it. Because a lot of Guild War days did not have options that would properly counter it out. And once you let it go out of hand, you just auto-lose to it. And that was the biggest issue I feel like it had. But in the context of PvP, I personally never really found it excessively hard. If I was using like a random team against it, obviously it could be. But if you specifically build to kill Life and Death, it's normally pretty straightforward to do the battle. If anything, it's almost weak because it takes so much mana to start getting rolling up. And if it's going to be hitting you without one-shotting, it's doing almost nothing. Basically just casting something that does nothing. And you still sometimes have to worry about the death mark, but a single cleanse can do that in, and then you don't need to worry about it. Yeah, one single Obsidian stun, and you just completely destroyed Life and Death, at least until it does Bless. But even then, you could do Curse follow-up. But a stun into a one-shot also works pretty good for it. And of course, just Skull Spam. Skull Spam was always just the easiest way to deal with it, and still kind of is. If you can get a really good Skull Spam double, like Divinish Ball Quillin or Glaceon, Bloodhammer, or anything like that, normally just melts that with a good mana generator. And it's even better to mana generate them when it's outside of a Guild War situation. In the case of the Glaceon thingy, you can even do it with Apothecary, which gives you the cleanse in case Life and Death does get rolling. Oh, was that 100? Did we just do it? We've done it! Dervish 100! It has been done. Dervish 100. What do we even do here? Doesn't even matter. Here, have some elemental bonus. There we go. We have maxed out Dervish. Another one down. Oh, the cute little Manticores there. Adorable. But there we go. Nice. Oh, and how fitting. It's a Leonis Empire event. Oh, no, never mind. You're from Drifting Sands. I forgot. Never mind. I was gonna say I thought it was from Leonis Empire. Leonis Empire is War Priest, but there we go. It has been done. Well, let's go to the next one. We're skipping over to Obelisk. We'll get it up passively. Let's go to Oracle. The new goal. Start getting this thing up. It's pretty useless. It's so useless even with Centaurs, which is supposed to be the whole synergy of it. It doesn't even synergize with as well as other troops do. The Oracle's pretty bad, unfortunately. Actually, you know what? Let's go War Priest. It's the event for Leonis Empire. Let's go get some Leonis Empire XP for this thing. Plus, we got the event for it this Thursday. So you know what? We're actually going to do War Priest. Just because, yeah, we get a lot of free XP for it this week. So might as well work it up. Because the Thursday class event, of course, is War Priest for Leonis Empire. So we might as well. Even gets 10% this week, which isn't a lot, but it's more than 0. Oh, whoops. Did I just use this against a PvP team? What battle am I doing? Oh, I accidentally did a strong PvP team. Whoops. Oh, well. It'll die to this, as long as it doesn't get revive. Yeah, there we go. Any of those teams you feel like you can stop their Empower troop from the extra turn, and then you win? With what team? Let's see. Just ran through some of the other chat. Will there be a new big feature coming in next patch? Yeah, every 0.0 patch does. I can't say anything about it, but yes, it exists. Like every single other 0.0 patch. 2.0 was traits. 3.0 was Guild Wars. 4.0 was Delves. And 5.0 is a thing that I cannot say. But it is definitely a thing. We'll take that for now. If anyone still has any other questions, let me know. One's not related to next patch. No, the treasure hunt rework and the vault rework. I mean, not vault. Though I wish they would do the vault rework as well. But the treasure hunt rework and the arena rework, they already mentioned in like the Q&A, like the most recent one that they did, which is like all the way back in January or December or something. But they did mention that it would be the later part of this year. It's probably going to be one of the last 3 patches of this year, which means it's likely going to be around October, November, or December. One of those 3 months is likely to be the treasure hunt and arena rework, assuming they're still going to do it. But they already confirmed that it wasn't going to be in 5.0 at some point publicly. So we know for sure it's not in it. And I can confirm while being in the beta that yes, it is indeed not in it. Because they already confirmed that it wouldn't be. They're likely still doing it this year, but it's not a next patch. Yeah, people have been asking for it for a while. And we still haven't gotten it. Wouldn't you say now Guild Wars isn't really a big feature? I don't know. Guild Wars still seems like a relatively big feature to some guilds. Maybe not to every guild in the game. But a lot of people would probably still consider it a pretty big feature. Because it's the most competitive area within the game. Hey, Basilisk. I feel like I've been seeing none of them on defend. It's an okay defend troop. You can get a random kill out of nowhere. Only problem is the AI might not target a stunned enemy properly. Yeah, next patch is definitely more towards the 2.0 patch as far as how big it was for meta change, though. I don't feel like people will feel the effects of it initially, though. But over time, it'll become really noticeable. Will there be a new world coming? I cannot mention. There might be, there might not be. Is there a resource or something we should be taking advantage of before the new patch? Not really, other than the normal ones that you'd focus on. Like always making sure you have some gold on hand. Making sure you keep your gem stack high. Because almost every patch brings in something that seems to sink more gems. But aside from the normal, there really isn't anything you could focus on specifically to prepare for next patch. Which is why I haven't mentioned anything. Can I please tell you everything about next patch? I can't. I wish I could. Whenever they get anything public, I'll mention it. Hello, Tesco. Good Possessed King team. As you got him today. Nice. You tend to build him into teams and not necessarily a team around him. Personally, if I was to build him into something, I'd probably build him into Iron Gut. Though it's more centered around Iron Gut than it is specifically Possessed King. Alternatively, he tends to be pretty good with Wrath. Building something like a Wrath hero Skyla with Possessed King tends to be one of the cheaper options you can do, because it doesn't actually require another mythic, whereas quite a few of the other combos with him does require another mythic. But doing something like a what did I just say? It's a Wrath, a Doom weapon. I believe Doomed Crossbow works best, but you could technically use any Doom weapon. Followed by Skyla, and then Possessed King. I believe is one of the stronger Possessed King teams in the game. And also one of the instances where he gets used a little bit more. Because while there are things that can mana generate for other colors, when it comes to skull spam, the main purpose of Possessed King tends to be skull spam related extra turns. While you could theoretically use in other builds as well. That's where it normally shines best compared to other troops, is with skull spam. Particularly Doom skull spam, but even just normal skull spam works well. But yeah, Wrath, hero with Doom weapon, ideally red. Skyla, Possessed King, I would say is the main first go-to one. And doesn't use any mythics other than himself. Whereas most other builds like Iron Gut and stuff like that would use at least one other mythic. Wasn't there a Possessed King team with Luna? You could. Theoretically, you could stack up to, well, the main reason you go Wrath is because between Wrath, Hero, and what's it called? And Possessed King, you can get 5 explosions. Every single skull extra turn would give you 5 explosions in that situation. The whole point of Wrath with Possessed King is to get an absurd amount of explosion per extra turn that you do. Because as you're skull spamming, you're basically board clearing with every single extra turn skull you do, which gets a lot of value. And then those explosions give you even more skulls because of Skyla Skull Storm. Great King's a pretty good true damage. I'm personally not a fan of using it, but it's still a really good troop. Out of all the really good troops, it's probably the one I use the least, even though it's really good. I just hate troops that deny out one of the colors that it uses to boost off of. That style of play is just kind of weird to me. That is still pretty good. Because you have to prioritize if you want the damage or you want the mana. It's just a rather weird play style. But he does hit really hard when he works. And sometimes the board's just set up perfectly that you get the value for both. The correct target and the correct board control. Like sometimes you have to prioritize one over the other. Like give the enemy a good board but do more damage to them. Or get a better board for yourself with an extra turn but do less damage to them. If anyone else does any other questions, let me know. I think as soon as we get a level on the... Oh, yeah, never mind. I already got the level on it. After we do several more battles, we'll probably go to wrap for the night then. I can get my clicks on. Will anything be deleted next patch? Like in the past old challenges? I don't think so. Not that I recall of. Did I get the weapon bug today? What weapon bug? Not sure what you mean by that. Probably not then. I know, what was the weapon bug today? Was it given like an invisible weapon if you bought like tier 4 or something? I only bought up to tier 3. Because normally there's a weapon on tier 4, but there wasn't this time. You can't choose a weapon once you have been in the event. Can't change colors. You can't choose a weapon once you have been in the events. What do you mean? Like you can't put a weapon into your team? Because it's supposed to be restricted to only those 4. But what, does it just not allow you to put a weapon in then? Once you've already made your team? I can't even check that because I've already did all my battles today. So where are all the weak battles? There we go. But yeah, that's intended if you're talking about the restriction. All World Lore events have a restriction on weapons. What are the restrictions for the events? It's Leonis Empire, brown, yellow, if I'm not mistaken. Or the restrictions. So it has to be from Leonis Empire and it has to be brown or yellow. So the weapons are only the brown and yellow Leonis Empire weapons. Because of that restriction. Which means there's only 4 of them. The sundial, the lion thing, the little pokey sword, and the, I forget what the other one was. But it wasn't anything relevant. They're all pretty bad. Oh yeah, that one little sword weapon that has a silence on it. Forget its name. It's never been too relevant. Wait, oh, it's stuck. Oh, the restriction stuck outside of the battles. Oh, that'd be annoying. Well, luckily it's fixed now, because I see every weapon here. Oh, that would have been really annoying. The restriction applying literally everywhere. There was a weird bug in the past where some weapons weren't showing up. And, like, you could have a weapon on a team, yet it wouldn't be anywheres in, like, your thing. I forgot exactly when that happened. It was sometime like soon after a patch. But for like a couple days, you couldn't access like multiple different weapons, even if you already owned it. Unless you already had it on your team. Oh yeah, I'm curious what kind of new bug features we get next patch as well. Be interesting to see. Of course, some of them are found during beta. But most people don't play like the beta excessively. I think I only played it for like 10 hours, I want to say, total. It's not like we get paid to do it. They supposedly have people that check it for them that are actually paid. Let's see. That or who knows, maybe just do the betas, all of it, and just hope they catch it all. I wouldn't be surprised these days. Let's see, we'll throw that down for now. That's a pretty bad way of trying to get them all, though. Let's see. Yeah, Life and Death, honestly, I feel like Life and Death could take a little bit of a nerf. It's definitely a fun weapon to use. It's just a really frustrating weapon to face when you're not using a proper team against it. As long as the bugs don't crash the game like in the past. Hopefully shouldn't. I haven't seen any crashes yet. Though, of course, the beta is only ever on PC, so hard to tell. What do you think of this defend team? Daughter of Ice, Jar of Eyes, Zugoff, and Drowned Sailor. It's used as a red day counter. You don't want to use red against it. It's pretty easy to counter, though. You skull spam it like crazy. But, yeah, it's used as a red day counter. Is the main thing that's normally used for, I believe. Mostly because the empower that it has at the beginning. Why don't I fight the fire bombs? Because they're slower than these battles. Even with repicking, it's still slower. Because you have to wait for 4 fire bombs to cast. Whereas here, we just cast once and we win. So even firebomb teams like this, it's not worth going for in the current state of the game. Also, you don't know for sure if it'll ever be 4 times firebomb, though we did get 2 in a row. But they're not always necessarily 4 times firebomb. And if they're not, it goes even slower. But yeah, the defend team you mentioned is pretty strong, Defiant. But Skull Spam takes it out pretty easily. Entangle, if their hero doesn't have immune to it, it's pretty good as well. Just because most of its value is Zugoff Skull Spam. But as long as you have like some amount of mana drain or Skull Spam to kill it out quickly, it should normally be fine. The whole premise is, of course, to give Zugoff quick mana and try to get an instant kill. And that kind of comes down to luck if it gets it. Unless you like empower counter both its options. What are we doing right now? I'm trying to level up hero classes. Casual PvP 1 trophy battles are the best way in the game to get 2 things. Hero class XP and pet gnomes. Explore 2 or 3 spam, like we normally do, is the best way to get gnomes in the game, aside from pet gnome, as well as quickest hero XP. And while it's really good class XP, it's not actually the quickest hero XP in the game, which are 2 different things. Hero XP is this number, class XP is this number, and PvP does the best for this number, whereas Explore 2 or 3 does the best for this number. As well as for trait stones, in regard to 2 or 3. Yeah, we'll go crash Salties. We'll go do this battle and probably head over to Salty. See what's up today. See if she'll spoil anything about next patch. Probably not. But I'm curious to see if she'll get asked about this current event and why it's scored so horribly. Curious what her answer will be, or if she'll just ignore it. Which honestly I feel like is a more likely thing. Yeah, we're almost repaired back up to 15,000 gems. Wait, is there no Salty stream? Hold up. Is there no Salty stream today? Is she just not streaming anymore? Let's see. Wait, is she really not? Let me go double check her social media, or the Gems of War media. Let's see. Is there a post on it? Oh, yeah, right. There's no post. Let me check the forum. Is there really no stream for a day? Interesting. Maybe we'll go a little bit longer then. Other than hero class grinding, we don't really have any other main objective to get though at the moment. Forum, where are you? Why are you not looting? There you go. Gems is streaming. Where is the current present day? I'll be updating our streaming schedule today. Unfortunately, today's stream has had to be canceled due to construction being done on my house. Oh, she's having construction done on her house, so she's unable to stream. Interesting. She got construction done on her house so she wouldn't have to stream today. No, just kidding. But, yeah, she just mentioned it a minute ago. We're getting all the facts as they come in. But yeah, she canceled it literally a minute ago. What timing? She crashed her new bike into her house. I highly doubt that. But also, I wouldn't doubt that it also happened. Like, you could say that and it's like, yeah, I could see that happening. Oh, what did Jefferson say? She hasn't streamed after the launch of a World Lore event since the very first one, where everyone told her how horrible it was. Really? I haven't even noticed that. Because I haven't been catching as many of her streams lately. But, that's rather interesting. She's dodging the World Lore events. Oh, since she just posted something on the forum, I hope that means I can get code. How do you score big in these new events? Which ones? Like the World Lore event? It's a really bad scoring this week. You'd have to tier 7 to get it across your entire guild, like everyone doing it across the guild, in order to actually get it done, which is going to be super, super annoying. Better have a few people dedicated to it who will just do more. But as far as this World Lore event is concerned, take the highest rarity battle always. And the level of the battle doesn't matter, just the rarity of it. So whenever you see a Zugoff, the blue one, or sorry, the light blue one, not the darker blue one, but the really light blue one that looks like a dragon head, you want to make sure you always take that. That's worth 20 points. The orange one is worth 3. The purple ones are worth 2. And those blue ones are worth only 1 point. So make sure to always take the dragon head for 20. And make sure to just do the higher rarity otherwise. And the level of the battle doesn't matter, so do whatever the lowest level is while doing the highest rarity. Because the level just determines difficulty, whereas the rarity determines what you actually get as a reward. But yeah, that's the way that every World Lore event works. Always take highest rarity, no matter what. That's how they all work, or seem to be working. That seems to be their premise. Yep, no problem. Yeah, we'll have a video going up on it very, very soon. And of course, we did it throughout the stream today as well. After they introduced weekly World event, she never will be streaming again. About that. Let's see. Maybe she's prepping. grab that. Get a Rowan down. I wouldn't mind these World Lore events if they did two things. Make sure the scoring is never as bad as it is this week. Like, more towards how they were the other 2 weeks. And make it more fun. I'm not sure what needs to be done to do that. But that's going to probably be its biggest issue. I feel like. What do we grab here? Like, even delves to this day, I feel like, are still fun, personally. Not to the point where I do every single one of the daily ones. But, you know, when a delve event comes around, I have a lot of fun with it. Like the one that we just had last weekend. Like, that has been around since 4.0. Like, almost 2 years ago. And, actually, it is, yeah, almost 2 years ago. In, like, 3 months, it would be 2 years. And they're still pretty much just as fun as they were. But World Lore event just isn't doing it. Especially when they make the scoring so badly like they do this time. Yeah, the biggest issue is the restrictions. There's a lot of really creative restrictions that they could do that could make it fun. But I feel like they haven't really been balancing what they choose as the restriction that well. Because the one this week is horrifically bad. Like what we have access to. Not as bad as the very, very first one, but it's most similar to that one. Even in scoring. It's like they chose every bad aspect and it's like, let's do that this time. Let's repeat all that. I thought they would kind of learned from the first one. Apparently not, though. Like, it seemed like it was starting to get slightly more on track with the last two. But then they had this week and it was like, nope. They didn't learn yet. That or was already prepared way in advance and they didn't bother changing it. Which is probably the more likely case. Yeah, the difficulty scaling for World Lore event is very weird compared to any other event. Like, delves do get pretty challenging, even though it's pretty much just a stat gain. They do get rather challenging as you keep going forward. Yeah, something about this event just... It is so weird because they keep giving you, like, really weak battles, even after you've gone very far. Like, you could have gone 50 sigils in and still get, like, a level 60 battle. It's very strange. They used to communicate a lot with the player base. Over the last, like, year or two, I felt like it's gone down quite a bit. I assume it's because they have other projects and stuff, but I'm not sure. It's also in part because of coronavirus, too. Because they haven't even had, like, a Q&A or anything because they can't, like, all get together. Like, most of them aren't even in the office on a given day. And the virus will still be affecting that for months into the future. But hopefully after that, once they get collected a little bit, they'll start improving a bit. Can't help to think there's always external factors too. With like publisher and stuff like that. I haven't actually played any other 505 games yet though. So I'm not sure how greedy they are. They're not like the biggest of publishers. But they're definitely not that small. Let's see. We'll take that over for now. At least it's not Activision Blizzard. Because they set the new low bar for everything else to be above now. Or maybe that in Bethesda. I don't know, who's worse right now, Bethesda or Activision Blizzard? I'd probably say Activision Blizzard. Mostly because they killed Warcraft 3. Or at least try to. And I have a lot of nostalgia for that game. I still even play it on occasion. Mostly for the custom maps, of course. Not for the actual base game. EA's always been bad. They're in a category of their own. What is the biggest game that 505 has published? I believe it's Terraria, isn't it? I can't think of a single game bigger than Terraria that 505 has done. Maybe Payday 2? But I'm pretty sure Terraria has beat it out by like 5 times, if not more. I forget if Payday 2 has microtransactions or not. But I'm pretty sure Terraria is the biggest thing 505 has published. Wasn't that by 505? Pretty sure it was. Let's see. I never actually did bother playing Terraria yet. It's too Minecrafty for me, which is one of the reasons I haven't really gotten into it. I do own it. I got it for like ultra cheap on the Steam sale at one point. It was like a few bucks at one point. Yeah, I still need to finish out Bug Fables. Been really liking the storyline so far. Honestly, it's probably one of my top 10 favorite games of all time. It took the 1,000-year door spot. Paper Mario 1,000-year door has been beaten out by an indie game that basically tried to copy it. But basically, it took every single thing from that game and made it better. Except for the visuals, but that's mostly because it's a small indie company. So they can't outdo the visuals, so they just outdid all the mechanics. Let's see. Take that for now. No, Infinity Plus 2 hasn't made anything, I don't believe, in the last, since Gems of War. I don't think they made anything. I was talking about publisher, not the game company. I don't think they have. A Google search might be able to find it. But I don't think Infinity Plus 2 has done anything since Gems of War. Or if they did do one, it flopped. And I believe they did Puzzle Quest... No. They did a couple other games before then. But, what is the game that they did before Gems of War? I'm trying to think. I know it was a match 3 game of some sorts. Because Puzzle Quest 2, I believe, was 2012, so it would have been a bit later than that. I never said Bug Fables wasn't good. I never at any point said such words. I said Paper Mario and the Origami King, the next Paper Mario game in the main Paper Mario series, is likely to not be that good. It comes out in, I think, a week or something. I'm probably not getting it. I'll probably watch reviews of it and see maybe a quick speed run of it just to get a feel for it. But it looks like it's going to be disappointing. Because it sticks to the formula that they've been going down that isn't the original formula. Because what happened with the Paper Mario series is they released the first 2 games with a really, really good formula. The same one that Bug Fables uses and copies. And then for whatever reason, for 15 years, they never went back to that formula. And the series has kind of been dying ever since. The Paper Mario series. Because for whatever reason, they refused to go back to the working formula that worked very well for the first 2 games and made them so good. And this next one, while it does seem like a little bit of an improvement, it does not seem like it's going back to it. Did they do some kind of pirate game? I do not recall. I don't know. I'm still holding out that they do Puzzle Quest 3 and they do it correctly. I'm really hoping for a really solid Puzzle Quest 3. Ideally with multiplayer in it too would be pretty cool. You know, like actual PvP multiplayer. Could have a lot of potential if they release Puzzle Quest 3 with a fully fleshed single player and a fully fleshed out multiplayer. Because all the puzzle quests have had a formal multiplayer, but it was kind of a side piece and not the main game. But it'd be really cool if they made it like equally the main parts, where you'd play through the entire single player. It'd have some replay value like all the other ones, where you'd play through at least a couple times with several different classes, and then have a multiplayer that would actually be balanced and have a progression system in it. That's going to be the hardest part, though. It'd be really hard to balance match 3 RPG kind of stuff in a multiplayer setting. I can't even think of a game that has done it successfully. I know of games that have tried, and I've even beta tested a couple of them to small amounts, but they've all pretty much failed. It's a really hard genre to try to balance in multiplayer. I don't think Puzzle Quest 3 would take too much away from Gems of War. Because some people just don't like multiplayer, even if it did have a multiplayer aspect as the main thing. And if it was single player, it might for a short duration, but obviously most people would come back if it had no interaction with other people at all. But there's a big difference between single player, like a pseudo multiplayer, and actual multiplayer. And Gems of War is like that pseudo multiplayer thing. Like not actually multiplayer, but enough social interaction that it has like a community and everything, which ends up working out really well. No, I wanted that. Okay, good. We got a good follow-up. Also, all the Puzzle Quest games do play quite a bit differently, in that they're one unit that has multiple manas that you accumulate and then casts like basically spells, whereas Gems of War is separated into basically 4 parts, which is quite a bit of a different play style, because you're feeling 4 different mana pools rather than one gigantic mana pool. And it plays quite a bit differently. Also, Puzzle Quest games generally have a much slower pacing of battle compared to Gems of War. Like, Puzzle Quest matches can take like 5 minutes plus, some of them. They can get pretty long. Whereas Gems of War obviously has many very quick battles, and even longer battles aren't really that long. They're normally closer to 2 or 3 minutes. With a few exceptions, like 500 Delve. Yes, they did a space game like Puzzle Quest. I believe that was the one they actually did before Gems of War, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't that around 2013? Because Gems of War came in 2014. I forget when that game launched. But yeah, they did do some kind of space puzzle game thing. With an interesting, like, spinning mechanic thing. I never played it. I think it's on Steam. I never did bother playing it. The only games I ever played from them was Puzzle Quest 1, Puzzle Quest 2, and, of course, Gems of War, obviously. Do you see any use for Nocturnia? Level 500 Delve? Aside from that, no. It'll be rather useless. It also makes doing Explorer and Blighted Lands off limits now. It was already kind of sketchy because of all the revives, but now it's even more annoying. Basically having its own Dragon Soul with 50% revive chance. Do you remember my 38-minute Guild War battle? Yes, we did have a 38-minute Guild War battle before. That's an exception, not a rule. But yes, we did have one really, really hilarious, almost stalemated battle that I believe we ultimately did end up winning, didn't we? But that was pretty funny. But yeah, I think it was the longest Guild War battle we ever had. Not sure if it was the longest Guild War battle ever, but it was definitely the longest we've ever had. Yeah, that battle was insane. But I didn't want to lose. That was a while ago. That was almost around the time when Guild War came out, if I'm not mistaken. Forget what Guild War week that ended up happening on. But it was ages ago. But anyways, guys, anyone have any other questions? Any other things? Otherwise, I think we will start wrapping up soon and call it a night. We'll be back tomorrow, same time as always, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is about 2 hours prior to now tomorrow. We'll have the event video up soon, TM, and we'll have the faction video up soon, TM, because I know people are still rolling through the battles. Obviously, the event has already ended, but I still want to cover it for future reference, and also because people are still doing it as their dailies, because not everyone rushes it up with gems. Some people do just the 3 daily ones per day. And they might only be at like 300 right now. Still have a little ways to go until they hit a 500. This faction is one that can be done without potions, by the way. But anyways, guys, thank you for stopping by. Let's go grab our tribute, get our gems. Hey, 3 people gave us the fun. Thank you. I don't need them anymore, but nice. There we go. Anyways, guys, I will catch you guys soon. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll have the videos up soon, TM. Of course, tomorrow we have ourselves faction for Dark Pits, if I'm not mistaken, right? Dark Pits? Yeah, Dark Pits. And I need to go do this pet. I'll go do that right now. You know what? Never mind, we're not done. I lied. Let me go grab this pet real quick. Might as well. I'm going to need to anyways right now. Before I grab a bite to eat, so might as well do it right now. Let's go run through it with Skeleton Key real quick. Never mind, we're not heading off yet. Also, see you, Tasco. Catch you later. As soon as we finish out this pet one. Let's see, we'll grab that. Oh no, I wanted the other thing. Whoops. I'll take the red. Oh, the misclick. And that dies out. And one skull, take it out. Good to go. Oh wait, do I even need more copies of this? Yes, I do. I need 18 more copies. Gosh, definitely need to make sure we do it then. I'll grab that for now. Oh, nice, Struck Savage. You've been streaming the game lately? Great to see more people doing it. What do we grab now? Let's take that for now. Get a key in there. Grab that. Go to our destroys. Get another one in there, and it'll be dead. If it'll let me. What do we need here? We'll grab the gold. Take the thing over there and hope for a good cascade. Get our red to get mana going. Eventually I will be using Phoenicia only for these. As Sunspear. And the reason for Sunspear is because of Perpetual Red Storm you'll need for the final 2 battles. Otherwise it goes slower if you only have a Red Storm at start, like the Obelisk. And the amount of time you have to take the switches is annoying. It's not that long, but it's actually longer than switching out your team score thingy. Or, you know, like the team that you have set. It would theoretically be quicker to copy-paste that than it would be to actually manually change the hero class because all the scrolling you have to do. As weird as that may seem. Same actually applies to banner as well. It is actually quicker just to copy paste the team than it is to manually change your banner or manually change your hero class. Because all you have to do to copy paste the team is consistently you would just go here, edit team, manage team, paste team, boom, it's in. You're good to go. Whereas if you want to change your banner, you have to go into banners and then you have to find where on earth the banner is or search, and generally that amount of time comes out to longer than just pasting in the team. Same as having to find the hero class and then clicking on it. It's about the same amount of time, but I believe you do actually save time if you already have it on copy paste. As weird as that may seem. Some people keep really, really long lists of copy paste teams. I personally don't, but some people do. And it's basically a way to have infinite team slots. If you ever feel like you're getting low, just keep a Word document or just a notepad of a bunch of copy pastable teams, and then just use them whenever. And you simply just copy paste and you're good to go. And you can end up doing that in between your battles on keyboard. It's only really extremely applicable on PC, obviously, though. It's quite a bit less efficient on anything else. It wouldn't be too bad doing it on phone, either. That'd definitely be easiest on PC. How did he kill us? Really, Deathmark? I think I was actually pretty good in an early game back in the day. I don't feel like anyone would really use it in the current state of the game, though. It's not horrible, at least in early game. There's just so many other better early game things. Because of how many big boost ratios there are for early game now. Whereas at one point he was like one of the better ones when there wasn't as many. Yeah, I tried multi-streaming in the past. I had a lot of issues with it. Like a lot. I'm not sure if I'll ever get into it again. It also doesn't really seem as worth it overall. Because it's hard to get monetization on multiple different platforms at once. And it kind of splits everyone all over the place. So I kind of just stuck to YouTube. Because it's impossible to make any money off of Twitch if you don't partner with them. And if you do, you can't stream to any other platform simultaneous to streaming on Twitch. It's against their contract. That's why I tried doing Mixer at the later part of last year, because they don't have the same restriction on Mixer. However, their whole process of getting partnered and everything is also pretty annoying. Actually, it's easier to do on Twitch, but the exclusivity clause that they have in it is super annoying. Because you're not allowed to have any content. You're not allowed to multi-stream on Twitch if you're partnered with them, even if you're just an affiliate. And you're not allowed to post it anywhere for 24 hours. Other than on Twitch. And after 24 hours, you can post it wherever. But they have those two restrictions on it if you're affiliated or partnered with them. YouTube doesn't have that restriction, and Mixer doesn't have that restriction, though. Actually, I believe almost every streaming platform doesn't have that restriction. For whatever reason, Twitch is like the only one. It's kind of weird. But anyways. And of course, it gets... you do get more restrictions, I believe, on Mixer if you are partnered, though. But that's a whole different story. Because both of them, I believe, have a two-tier system. Like affiliate and partner. Whereas YouTube's just one single thing. But anyways, guys, I'm going to be heading out for now. Hope you all have a wonderful week. We'll be back soon. As I mentioned, we'll be back 2 hours prior to now tomorrow. Same time as always, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have some videos up soon, TM. And we'll go over the all the other things going on this week. Some cheaper teams for this event, though I'm not sure how much cheaper you can get with what you really have available. You almost kind of have to go Divine Spell or Corvash, but I'll try to figure out something. Going over teams for tomorrow, Dark Pits, and yeah, just all the other normal stuff we're having this week. Bounty Troop's pretty good this Friday. We'll, of course, go over Bounty Hunter on the day. But, yeah, the Bounty Hunter Troop's not that bad. It's Skull Spam with a full AoE heal kind of thing with some life gain. It's not horrible. It's one of the better Bounty Troops. Outside of Bounty, it's going to be useless. And I feel like it mana blocks enough that this would probably be the only event you would use it for, unless you really wanted to go Skull Spam. But anyways, guys, I'll catch you guys later. Have a wonderful week. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye, everyone. And thank you all so much for watching, as always.